It's the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Tune in. Tune in. Tune in. Tune in.
Talk about that turning point where you're like, you know what? This is cool. I'm making money doing this, but it's time to start taking investing a little more seriously.
Yeah. So I had that turning point. I'm gonna be honest with you. The turning point was for me was being a realtor never was a full heart. So just to be transparent with you, I went to a class. I owned a single family house, a 2-bed, 1 bath house, right? And I went to a class to how to buy multifamilies. And I just the little bit of knowledge I had, this was in 2016, that said, once you buy single families, the next house is to go multifamily, right? So somebody was having a class saying how to buy multifamily property. So I went to the class, learned some game, and then the actual person that was teaching the class will end up becoming a mentor of mine. He said, "Yo, you sound like you know a lot." I was like, "Yeah, I read a lot, watch a lot, and I'm here." And he just was like, "No, I just like you got this vibe about you. I think you'll be good with sales." And I'm like, "Well, I've been selling stuff my whole life. I'm always been an entrepreneur, so like, of course." And he's just like, "No, I really think this might be a lane for you." So he said, "You should get your real estate license." And I was like, class is $300 each or $600. So I did it. That was easy. It took 2 months, a month and a month, or like 45 days and 45 days. So that was nothing. The problem was I failed my test 9 times. So at this point, you have to keep going because I'm competitive. And I said, you know what? I have to, once I got my license finally, I said I had to sell houses because this is like I can't give up now. I already went through all of this. But the moral of that whole story was I never really wanted, you listen to what I said, I always wanted to be an investor. That's the reason I wanted to. I just let somebody smooth talk me into getting my license, which turned out to be one of the best things in my life. So after selling a bunch of houses, that's when I said, you know what, let me go back to my roots. What I really done this for was to be an investor. So that's when I kind of had that. I made a bunch of money as a realtor, and I said, you know what, I got enough income now and money saved to where I can take this pivot and do the investing thing. And then as far as the wholesale thing go, I had I just wearing suits and everything started getting a little tiring. And this guy made double the money I made in basketball shirts. I was like, wait, so I don't gotta wear a suit anymore? And you made more money than me? And I don't have to show houses? I said, all right, nothing else to talk about.
Definitely. I love it. So, so you went from realtor to wholesaler and then taking investing more seriously, right?
Yes, sir.
Got it. Do you think wholesaling helped you to get good at finding deals?
Yes. Wholesaler is sometimes downplayed amongst in the investing world, but there are I would say the good wholesalers are some of the smartest, amazing individuals there are. Why do I say that? Is because it's so hard to make sure everybody wins. Think about that. I have to make sure the homeowner wins. I have to make sure you win. I have to make sure I win. Every party included in this transaction has to win. Not only we're talking with the title company, sometimes we're even talking to the buyer's lender, dealing with a new buyer. They don't know how to work with hard money. Now I'm talking to their lender. So at this point, for our 10,000, 15,000, 20, 30, 40, 50, even more $1,000 assignment fee, we're making sure everybody across the board is going to win. So I feel as though that, being a wholesaler, like you're learning numbers on a whole nother level because you have to make sure everybody is getting a piece so they sign these contracts. Not to mention, it's very, very, I don't say difficult, but it's very, very strategic to find off-market properties at a deep discount rate. Like, think about that. Like, I'm trying to I'm really finding properties, digging down, getting their contact information, following up with this homeowner over, like, it's some work, like, so I definitely feel as though, like, digging in and developing those skills turns you into a monster.
Definitely. And I'm glad you mentioned that because as you said, like people just, I don't know, some people just have a weird thing about wholesaler, but it's like those who are actually good, one could add a lot of value to you as an investor, as a flipper, whoever you are. Like if you have a good wholesaler in your back pocket, you know, that could help tremendously. And And then for wholesaler themselves, like that skill set is always going to benefit you no matter when you pivot. So I'm glad you brought that up.
No, no doubt, no doubt. It's the truth, it's a fact.
Definitely. So take us to the point where you're like, all right, did the realtor thing, did the wholesaler thing. Now it's time to invest. Like, how did you start? Like, what did you buy? Like, how did you approach it at that point?
So, so it's so funny, right? I owned two small properties already. Me and my cousin had a property together, which I bought him out. And then my grandma, she moved to Florida. And it was ridiculous. But my grandpa lifelong dream was to move to Florida.
Mhm.
As soon as he retired, they gave him a lump sum $50,000 check. He took that $50,000, put it on a down payment house down Florida, and put himself in a mortgage. Why? I don't know. And of course, my grandma goes down there with them. They go down there with no money because the lump sum they got, they put it for a house and got a house built from the ground up, all this type of stuff.
Wow.
And my grandma said, "Yo, look, I had this house. I really want to give it to you, but I just can't." So she sold it to me for like $12,000. So I got that offer. So I had them two, but I don't want to say those houses didn't count. Like me and my cousin had got this house together, and then I got that off of her, these two small houses. I don't want to say that didn't count because they definitely, maybe we talk about this later on, but they definitely helped pivot me because I leveraged those to go ahead and make power moves. But also, like, I didn't know what I was doing. It just was like an opportunity. I jumped on it and called it a day. But long story short, the real estate investing, when I took it very, very serious, I was actually looking for a deal because I was watching one of my good friends. I think you interviewed him, Tariq.
Yeah.
I'm watching him, buy houses and do things. And I'm selling some of his houses. I'm wholesaling them deals, and I'm as a realtor, I'm selling some of his deals. So I'm watching him, build wealth, like real wealth. And I'm just like, nah, man, like I gotta jump in on this side of the field. So what I did was I started looking for deals, and I kept trying to get deals under contract, which I was. And then he was like, "Yo, man, you got this done a contract. You need to off that. Don't keep it. That's not enough you want to keep." So I was getting so frustrated. And then he had went ahead and me and him partnered and bought this multi-family building. It was a commercial mixed-use building together. And once I got that, we bought the building together. I had to put up like $30,000, put that together. And that kind of was like, so here's the thing. It's one thing to spend $10,000, $12,000 on a cheap house. Once you start spending 30, 40, 50, 60, up to $100,000 on something, it's like either does two things. He scares the crap out of you, you never want to do it again, or you got that taste in your mouth. You're like, I just spent something on an asset. Like I'm addicted now. And it was a wrap after that. That was like, it hit a switch in my brain. It's like they say, if you get punched in the face, either gonna make you back up or you're gonna keep moving forward. And it just kind of like, I like spending money on this stuff versus this other BS. And it was a wrap after that. So a lot of people see my real estate career and they're like, "Oh, you've been in real estate since 2017. I didn't really start buying houses really until like a couple years ago. Like 2019 is when I really started buying houses. 2020 paying, like that's when I really started like digging into it. So that's how it worked.
Love it. I'm glad that we're unpacking just the turning point and just what was happening around you and in your mind. And I think it's just so dope that Tariq you saw him and you were like, supporting him and things like that. And you caught on to it. You're like, yo, I need to get into this too. I need to catch the wave. So I think that's amazing. And talk to us about that acquisition with the multi-use. Like what ended up happening with that? Did it need a lot of work? Was it moving ready? Like talk to us a little more about that first transaction after the turning point.
Yeah. So with that property with Tariq and I, it's so funny because, and this is the thing about, and I'm being transparent with you guys, the thing about with real estate, buying real estate is never a bad idea. Sometimes things happen in real estate. So that was a full gut rehab. 98% of the projects I do is a full gut. Like we're tearing down the front wall, we're tearing all the joists out. Like I show some of my projects to people and they're like, whoa, like it's 10% away from new construction. It's called existing construction, new construction. So it's basically ground up development. But we tore down the front wall, we took all the joists, reframed everything out, and we had a little issue with the city. So then we got put on hold. So that was like, that also, and that's how I knew I loved this, because you got 30,000 tied up that you thought you were going to get back in this amount of time, and it didn't happen like that. But like I said, when things happen, when you get punched in the face, it's going to make you sit down or run away, or it's going to make you move forward. That made me move forward, and it didn't scare me. Of course, you're like, dang, I thought I was going to get that money back. But it's like, no, it's sitting inside of an asset that's worth 10x, 20x, literally 20x worth than what I put into it. So that's how that was. And it kind of like, pivoted me to keep going and doing more. But just to answer your question, that was a fully gut, like a full gut. Like we tore down the front wall, rebuilt it back up, took everything out, and it needed like a full everything in that property.
What's up, y'all? Sam here from the Black Real Estate Dialogue podcast. Thank you so much for watching another episode. Definitely take a moment to subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Also, visit our website, blackrealestatedialogue.com, and follow on Instagram @Black Real Estate Dialogue. Talk to you soon.